We're looking at 5 non-traditional NBA draft prospects today. And quickly, what I mean by that are these are guys who are a little bit older, who I project as potentially becoming role players at the next level. They're not, lottery picks. They're not, guys who are gonna have, gonna be 1, 2, or maybe even number 3 options at the next level. These are guys who are looking to find a role at the next level and are hoping to be able to do so. And they're probably not ranked in most top 60s or in most mock drafts. So I'm going to go through it in order of least likely to succeed at the next level to most likely, in my opinion. So starting off, number 5, Anderson Garcia. Garcia is a 6'7", 220-pound forward. He's at Texas A&M. Spent his first 2 years at Mississippi State. This is his third year at A&M. He is an excellent defender, an excellent rebounder, especially offensive rebounder. He was second in the country last year to Zach Edey. Numbers are a bit down this year, playing less minutes. His defense and his rebounding would be what gets him onto the court at the next level. Now, why it might not work out for Garcia? Well, there's a couple of things working against him. The two biggest ones are his age. He's already 24 years old, and his offense is really limited to cuts and dump-off passes. He's not a shooter. He's 67% from the field, and this is his best three-point shooting year. He's shooting less than 2 attempts per game at less than 35% from three. So the shooting and the age work against Garcia. At the 4 spot, I have Max Klesmit. I think Klesmit is a good player, a good shooter. He is also in his third year with Wisconsin after spending his first 2 years at Wofford, a program notorious for having good three-point shooters. He is struggling this year, yes, from three, shooting the most attempts he has during his Wisconsin career, over 6 attempts per game, which is the most since his second year at Wofford, and only shooting 29% from three. However, he is a career 81% free throw shooter and a 36% career three-point shooter, and that could be his ticket to becoming a role player at the next level. Now, the reasons why I think it might not work for Klesmit: his size, he's only 6'4", and he's a good but not great shooter. And to use a comparison for Klesmit, I think of a guy like Max Strus, who was a really good shooter at DePaul. Didn't necessarily shoot a high percentage, but shot a ton of volume. And he shot more volume than Klesmit and was also bigger. Listed at, depending on where you look, 6'5" or 6'6". I think he's 6'5" now in the NBA. I imagine Klesmit may be 6'3" in reality. And so I think those things kind of work against Klesmit, who I do think is a good player. At the 3 spot, Ian Schieffelin, the chef. I've seen a lot of Mr. Schieffelin over his 4 years at Clemson, as this is a Duke basketball channel as well. I've watched him in the games against Duke and then other ACC games as well. I really like his game. He's really well-rounded. He can do a bit of everything. He's an excellent rebounder. He's gotten better each year. 3 points and 3 rebounds per game as a freshman. 13 points, 11 rebounds so far. This is early January in his senior season. He can also play make, almost 3 assists per game this year. He's had some games where he's, gotten close to or, had double-digit assists. He's an excellent passer. He's 6'8", 230 pounds, and he's a good team defender, just under a block and a steal per game. Now, why will it not work out for Schieffelin? He's a average to below average athlete, I think would be the way to phrase it. He's not explosive. He is smart, so he knows where to be, and that helps him at the college level, but there are questions as to whether that will be enough at the next level where the athletes are just so much better. And the other concern is his shooting. He has improved year over year. He is a 73% career free throw shooter, though. And this is his best year in terms of attempts from three, but he's only connecting on 32%. He is double the amount of attempts from last year. So again, you do see the trend where he's improving, and that's why he's third on my list, because I do think there's a world where it works out for Ian Shefflin. Now, number 2, I've got Chucky Hepburn. I love Chucky Hepburn's game. He's a leader. He's a tremendous defender. 2+ steals, 2+ steals per game, I should say, the past 2 seasons. He just gets a ton of deflections, and he can also make plays for his teammates, averaging better than 5 assists per game this season. And he can get downhill. He can score around the basket. This is his by far best year of his career, scoring near the basket. His percentage is around 60%. I do think some of that is probably a little bit inflated, but still improvements from Hepburn. And he is a solid shooter, but not a great shooter. So that's one of the reasons why it may not work for Hepburn at the next level. He is a career 35% three-point shooter, which is pretty solid, but not spectacular. I do think he will get much better looks if he were to play at the next level, as opposed to being on this year's Louisville. He's arguably the number 1 option, especially with the injuries that they've had. And the other thing probably working against Hepburn, he's a little bit undersized at 6'2", 190. 190 is pretty good, but 6'2" is a little small. I'm kind of nitpicking there. I think Hepburn has a real shot to become a backup point guard, especially if his three-pointer can be solid at 36-37%. The defense is there, and the playmaking is good enough to make him, a backup point guard at the next level. There's a ton of competition at that point guard spot. There's just so many guys who are good. I think Hepburn has a real chance, though, to become a rotation guard. And lastly, my number 1 player in these 5 non-traditional NBA draft prospects is Brooks Barnhizer. He can do just about everything. And when I mean everything, I mean he's averaging 19 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block per game this season. He's a really good mid-range scorer. He can create for his teammates. He is a career 80% free throw shooter. The guy is just really well-rounded. He's the son of a coach. So he knows what to do on the court. He's a smart player. He's got good size. He's 6'6", 230. I just think there's a lot of boxes that Barnhizer checks to become an NBA, rotation role player type person. Why it might not work out for Barnhizer? His age. He's 23 years old. That's certainly working against him. He's the real thing, though, is his three-point shooting, which has been in his career, low 30s, with just the proliferation of three-point shooting at the NBA level. That is a little bit of a concern, especially he doesn't shoot a ton of them, so it's not like he's taking a lot of tough threes. He just doesn't take too many, just about 3.5 attempts per game. So Barnhizer can do a bit of everything, but he's not necessarily great at anything. So that is one thing that I guess could work against him, but I'm looking at it more positively. I think his game is well-rounded. He's a Swiss Army knife, and he'll be able to find a rotation role at the next level. It just may take, a couple of years for him to do so. But I do think by the time Barnhizer is 25 years old, he will be a rotation player in the NBA. So let me know what you guys think of these 5 players. Are there any other non-traditional NBA draft prospects that you think have a chance to become role players at the next level? Leave them in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel for more great draft and Duke basketball content. Like this video, it helps us grow, and share it with your friends. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.